my
Oh, that's great.
one-of-a-kind Mary Jo doll here, made by fellow
Wow.
fan Francine. All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to the 5th annual Misty Turkey Day meetup. Online, of course, virtual. We are safely distancing from each other during this time. And hopefully next year we can all be together, or maybe we can just do this, do both. Who knows? No, don't know what 2021 has in store for us. So let's just get right to it. I'm going to bring in our guest of honor, Mary Jo. Let me get you to have you up on the screen. She's going to answer some questions. Hello, Mary Jo.
Hi, everyone.
She's going to answer some questions that you guys have submitted, and then also that you can put into the chat there. So whatever you'd like to ask Miss Mary Jo here, put it out there, and we'll see if I select it. But I don't want to announce our special guest just yet. Let me go ahead and I want to make sure Mary Jo did see this one-of-a-kind profile.
That is so funny and so cute, and what a darling shape that doll has.
Yeah, see, she had to have her curves. And I'll go ahead and talk with you, Mary Jo. You have been so great for during all of this, and some, providing stuff for the charity raffle for NAMI. Thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
I did not check this morning. I was so busy, but as of last night, we had almost $300 raised with the different prize packages, and there's still more to be announced. I'm going to get taking care of that today. Instead of eating turkey, I'm going to be posting stuff. And I have a question, and most of the people, folks, when they see the shout out video from Matthew J. Elliott, this will make sense. So I will lead off with something about the British Bake Off and what your problem with it.
Well, I'm a huge fan of the Great British Bake Off, and Matthew J. is such a gem. He, I don't know if I'm going to get arrested for this. I don't know what the proprietary licenseship is, but it airs on Tuesdays, I think, in the UK, and then he sends me a link so I get to watch it before everyone else, and we just go back and forth about the show. I love the show.
Very cool. Okay, like I said, that question will make more sense when I show the Matthew J. Elliott video that he made for the shout out to air later this weekend. Looks like we have quite a few folks here already. I would like to bring in our very special guest, certainly not as special as Mary Jo, of course, but I'm kidding. Last minute addition to our Turkey Day. I am going to bring him in. Everybody, I am happy to announce that once his video comes on, Joel is here with us.
Hey,
hello, Joel.
Hi, Dina. Hi, MJ. How's it going?
Joel?
Happy Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving.
Did
you eat yet, MJ? Did you eat yet?
No, my dad's coming over in about an hour and a half, and we're having turkey. So.
Oh, awesome. We just ate, and so I think I gotta go in a half hour, and we're gonna eat the pie. That's the deal we made. So we do it up big over here. It's a real celebration, I mean, except for COVID, right? I mean, I'm not having any fun, just so you know. Keeping it under wraps.
Okay, well, actually, since we have Joel here, and you probably have some stuff to catch up on, I'm gonna mute myself, get rid of my video, and let you guys talk, and maybe you can regale us with some.
Thanks, Steve, for running it. Thanks for running the show, Steve.
Yes, thank you,
Anytime,
Steve.
Joel.
All right, I'm going to mute myself.
I want to hear MJ around the holidays. It's a real special time when you're a Pehl. There's a pride there about doctoring food.
Oh, God.
Pre-made food from Costco.
Yes.
the doctoring treatment. Can you please tell us about it?
I'd be happy to gather around everyone. And Joel, I have to back us up a little bit. Like when we were touring with Cinematic Titanic, you know, we were hanging out a lot, and it came up during one of our tours, and you have obsessed about it, and I love that so much. It makes me laugh so hard. But what I told Joel is that my parents like to do this thing called doctoring up. And what they do is they buy pre-made food and then add more food to it, because in my family, like, you can't have too much food on your food. So they'll buy like a shitty frozen pizza. Is this PG? What are we? Okay.
Yeah, I think we passed the PG section now. You said
Okay.
shit.
Okay, hold on. The dog is being, Seymour, get out of there.
Oh, let's see that dog. Let's see. When he comes by, grab him.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, look at that little thing. He's so cute. Oh, happy Thanksgiving, Seymour.
My house is a mess right now. Apologies. But my parents would have freezer full of frozen food, and then they'd use whatever they had in the refrigerator, like leftovers, like bacon, or honestly, whatever was in there, mushrooms, and they'd pile it on, and they always called it, well, we're doctoring up a pizza, or we're doctoring up some lasagna. Do you want to come over? And it made Joel laugh so hard, and he still loves it. And
it's the idea too that at breakfast, it's like your mom would go, "You gonna finish that sausage?" And your dad would go, "Let's save it for tonight. We're gonna doctor, honey."
Let's put it aside for the time being.
Teeing up the doctoring, because that's part of you want to kind of prep.
Right.
Like fettuccinis, like peppers, maybe onions.
Yeah.
I've tried that over the years, and it sometimes works, but it's almost like the scientists have figured out exactly what's supposed to make everything work on the pizza. And when you put organic food on there, it almost doesn't react with it. Like if you put real onions on or real pepperoni, it kind of is like a separate pizza. It's a pizza on top. It's like three-dimensional chess with pizza.
Okay, Joel, that is freaking hilarious. It doesn't interact properly. That is hilarious. But I love my family dearly, but as my parents got older, their palates weren't necessarily attuned to that sort of nuance. So.
Oh my God, that's so great. And I bet you there's a ton of questions here. I'm going to moderate for MJ and see if there's any questions.
Are you going to answer some questions? Can I moderate for you?
I'll do some. Well, let me do some, and then I'll do you, and then I'm going to have to go, I think.
Okay. All right.
But at a certain point, but we got 20 minutes. Should I look at the chat or see if there's any questions in the chat?
I don't know how it works.
Tina's got some questions lined up for you, Joel.
Oh, please. That's great.
I have.
Thank you.
I actually don't have questions for Joel because until yesterday, he's going to be here.
Let's do MJ, and then I'll start throwing in on her thing. I'll jump her train. So you start, and then I'll kind of go, oh, yeah, and now about me.
And actually, this one actually will kind of go for one of you. Bees, she asks, am I in the shot? Asking for a friend.
Bees, you are not in the shot.
We made extra clear that couldn't happen this year. We're here to torture.
I love you, Bees.
She's the best.
All right, so yeah, that was just a fun one. Let me see. Here's from Brian from Columbus, Ohio. Mary Jo, he was wondering, when did you know your role as Mom Forrester was going to become the next Mad?
I can't remember specifically what season it was or what year, but I think you're talking more micro. I think it was when Trace left and we were brainstorming a lot of ideas about how to still maintain a tension with some sort of evil nemesis for the guys on the the satellite of love, and we were always working from within. Like we always like dragooned everybody on the staff or in-house to fill roles, whether they were extras like at the pancake breakfast. And so we brainstormed, and it just sort of segued into that.
Wow, that's very behind the scenes stuff that are asking.
I could say something about that. I wasn't there for that, but I'm so grateful it worked out that way. And I didn't really know much about it until MJ and I started doing the road together with a cinematic Titanic, and I started to see how people reacted to her and how important just having a really funny female comedian in that spot was so important for people and really needed. And of course I was there to, when we hired MJ, but not when she was doing more than like characters, right? You do like the woman in the van and stuff like that.
Exactly. Right.
But it wasn't like really built out. So it worked so great, and it's such a big part now because there's so many women that are doing Mads now, with Rebecca and, Yvonne, and it's all kind of based on MJ, it's all building off of that, yeah.
Definitely. Of course, everybody loves MJ and Bridget, your shorts, your full-length features, and let's see. Amy from California, she says, some of your shorts are on topics that women can relate to, getting older, periods, continuous eye circles, etc. How do you choose the material you riff?
Well, I think it comes down to what we can get our hands on, like what's available for riff tracks in the first place. And actually, a lot of that stuff is not necessarily diverted to Bridget and me because we're women. I think sometimes I see comments on certain threads that's all we do. And honestly, it is just what's available. And Mike, Kevin, and Bill get first dibs mostly. But we get a lot of great stuff. So there's kind of a back and forth about who's going to do what. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like you say, it's not just women's film. You guys have riffed how many horror movies? You've riffed several. I can't remember the last one you did, but
right. And again, it's like what riff tracks can get their hands on for us.
Right. Yeah. Does anybody have a question for Joel? Since he's here with us for just a few more minutes, he's got to get to his pie. Because we really do like pie.
Okay, if you don't want to, but if you don't have any questions, but MJ and I were going to announce that we're going to do a Fringe Festival act together. We're going to recreate her parents on a Saturday night. I think Grease is going to come on later, and we're going to doctor a pizza. And it's the story of those two.
Yeah,
and we really make the pizza on stage. That's
oh my God, yes, Joel. And it starts at about 4 because the TV watching starts about 5. And what show did you say? Oh, it's not going to be Grease. It's probably.
What would they watch?
They would probably watch Ice Truckers, something like that. Yeah. So probably something more like that. But I like where you're going with this. And yes, and then each of them will stand outside the action into a spotlight and reflect to the audience on their lives and their children and how they came to be doctoring up pizza. So they each have like a touching solo moment. So that's going to be our cabaret show.
Monologues.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Since Mary Jo brought up children and family, I think we should bring in another special guest, Dina. What do you think?
Sure, why not?
You know any children who you'd like to add to our conversation?
Certain little Debbie that if she doesn't mind, I would like to have her join in. I know everyone is familiar with Jackie. I'm trying to get her to unmute. I don't know things. That's why I got Steve. Steve, thank you again. She is here with us. I'm sure she's
working on it.
We're working on it. So there she is. Hello, Jackie.
Hey,
Hi,
Jackie.
Mary Jo.
Oh,
Hi, Joel.
hi. How's it going?
You
Going
know each other, right,
well.
Joel?
Excuse me?
Jackie and Joel, you've met each other, right?
Yes,
Yes, we did. We met in LA.
yes,
And he wrote the foreword to her book, Growing Up with Manos.
he did.
Will you autograph my book,
I
Jackie?
would love to. Oh my gosh. I'm so
Excellent.
happy to be able to say hello to you, Mary Jo.
You too. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
So we're all
Yay.
familiar with Manos, the Hands of Fate, which is one of our favorite MST3K episodes. And Jackie, you gave us a sequel recently, right?
Yes, Manos Returns. Me and, well, you may be familiar with Rachel Jackson, who did Manos Hands of Felt, the puppet play. And she and Tanya Atomic and Joe Sherlock were my co-producers. And oh, we got Diane Marie, who played my mother in the original.
Oh,
And she plays my mother in this one as well. It was great. We got her out from Colorado. And
Wow.
that is
And
really
Jackie, do you remember making Manos? Do you actually have a memory of it, or is that?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm starting to lose memory. I'm having some thyroid issues, so hopefully that comes back. But I'm so glad that I wrote my book while it was still really clear. And the reason I remember so much of it is because it disappeared for 27 years. You know, it played at the premiere, and then the theater canceled the rest of the 2-week run. And none of the actors that were in it ever spoke of it again, pretty much. I mean,
excellent.
they really, it was like they pulled off a heist and had to separate, you know.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I
We have
held
so many
on to
great
it, and I
memories.
told stories to my friends as I grew up, and you know, about this summer with my dad. And then one day he calls me 27 years later and says, "You'll never believe what I just saw on television."
Amazing.
Because he's an MST fan. He was an MST fan, and he watched it on Comedy Central, and he was taking a nap one Sunday afternoon in his easy chair, and he heard some very familiar music, the Torgo theme, and he opened his eyes and saw himself.
That is crazy.
I know, because I looked for it when I grew up. You know, I looked for it. I was already married by the time it came out.
Well, I can tell you a little bit about what it was like before we made the show.
Oh,
I
okay.
think back in the day, you know, Frank always we get a big box from HBO Downtown Productions of movies that were clearable, right? And that was part of the screening process. And he would look at the movies, but not very carefully. It's usually just kind of like, we're gonna go through this and this looks okay. And then at lunch, we'd be in the writing room, we'd eat in there, and then we'd pop in movies and watch them and go, oh, that looks great. Let's get that. That looks great. And we never watched Manos all the way through. We didn't understand
Oh,
what we were getting into at all. And then when we were writing it, I did have a moment where I thought to myself, wow, this movie's really tough to riff. This could be like the worst movie we ever worked on. This could be the hardest one to riff on. But as executive producer, it was kind of like, is that a fair thing to say to the writers? Like, this is really hard. Let's see what happens. And pretty soon everyone got around to it. And it was like the first time we talked about how tough it was to get through it. And I think that really helped with the show, right? It really helped us kind of reiterate, like, you're supposed to be watching these movies. But then it had a life of its own because of the nature of it. It really, it's probably one of our most famous titles. You know what I mean? It really is amazing. But it's because the movie is so unique, I think.
well,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's incredible to me because, you know, it came out and we had a lot of fun with it. and a few people interviewed me and that sort of thing. And then, I thought, well, that was fun. That was great. I was satisfied. And then it kept coming back,
Something about it with MST, right, MJ? It's amazing.
Right.
Usually we get our sauce on the movie. This time Manos got its sauce on us, I think. You know what I mean? And it doctored us, MJ. We were doctored by Manos.
Doctored.
Jackie, thank you so much for being a part of this. It's
you,
wonderful
Jackie.
to see you.
Great to see you. See you, Jackie.
Thank you. Thanks for visiting with me.
Yeah. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
That was cool.
Yeah, we're gonna have
I
some
didn't-
more
I didn't
time
know
with her
about
later.
this. Is there anything else you want to tell us that's going to happen?
Oh, everything. We have tonight at you're my big surprise, of course. But
well, I just want to know. I should have prepped for her. I didn't.
I didn't. That was very spur of the moment.
Did you know, MJ, that was going to happen?
I did not know. No.
That blew my mind. So were we okay?
So actually, I got to give credit to Steve
okay,
here.
you guys?
Steve. Yeah, no, this is going great.
This is going great.
Steve happened to
Joel.
see that Jackie popped in and
Also,
thought, why
right?
not?
It's just going to be like, we're just going to talk now, right? Or is there anything else?
Yeah, everybody's still here.
Focus on-
We just
on
turned off
Mary
Jackie's
Jo
video
and
so
Joel
that we
for a
could.
while. Absolutely.
That's,
Joel, however long you want to stick around, MJ.
I got 7 minutes, then we're doing the pie. So that's how much time I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's any questions. Well, everybody
And now
wants to
it's
know.
your
And while
eighth
you're
grade
here,
teacher you made cry, Joel. Here she is, Mrs. Pehl.
The question on everybody's lips.
behind the curtain, here she comes. Well, while we do have you, Joel, and I know this is the most asked question, but got to go with it. What is your favorite movie that you guys riffed? I guess your favorite episode.
Well, I got to tell you, and I think MJ will have some opinions about this too. Like when we're making a show, we're just trying our hardest, right? It's not like we're sitting there going, this is one for the history books. Man, oh man, we're really leaning into this one. This is what we'll be famous for. It's not like that. We don't know while we're making them whether it's a good one or a bad one. And it really goes out there and the audience decides. The audience kind of goes, oh, these are the really strong ones. And it's not necessarily us, it's really like Manos is a great example. Like I remember thinking this really is the worst movie we've ever done. Will we even get through it? And it's just that it's like a chemical reaction, between the movie and what happens. So we can't control it. We just kind of do our best. So basically the list that I have in my head is all from the fans kind of going, oh, this is a good one. Like Werewolf is a really good Mike episode. And I remember I never really got to look at those episodes until we started doing Turkey Days. And then it was my job to kind of go, well, if we're going to do these, I have to know what the movies are, what the shows are. And so I'd start to watch them. And I remember I was on a plane and I was watching Werewolf and I was just shaking in my seat. My seat was just going like this because I was laughing so hard at it. And I kind of had that experience, I think other people have, because I didn't know any of the jokes. Like I didn't know what was coming. Wow. And so I started to have that experience. And then with my son, we'd watch MST, but he never really got into it until we did Mike episodes because I'm his dad. Like I'm not cool, right? So then we watch, what's the one where the guy doesn't have a head? Like it's like it's something about a head and it's in a box. It's a black and white one. Do you know what I mean?
Is it the brain that wouldn't? No. Is it the woman without a head?
No, it's not that. It's a weird one, but there's a hilarious joke where it's like a headless thing that carries this head around and like this. Does anybody remember? I don't know,
but the thing that couldn't die.
The thing that couldn't die, yeah. And there's this really funny joke where it's like The guy drops his head, it rolls in the corral, and the horse eats it like an apple. And my son and I both started laughing at the same time, and I had that experience, right, that everybody talks about, like, oh yeah, we related on that joke, right? So that's kind of what happened to me. And so again, to answer your questions, it's always kind of reflected back from the fan base, but I like, there's something about I Accuse My Parents. I think that's super strong.
Yeah.
I think Bride of the Monster is strong. And then Final Sacrifice is really strong. And what's that? Laser Blast.
Oh God, yeah.
But it's all stuff. I seriously, while we're making them, it's not like we're planting a flag in this one. This one's the good one. We just, right, MJ, is it like that?
No, we're just trying to, for me anyway, we're just in that moment of that particular movie, of that particular space for a joke. And I think you're absolutely right. We don't know what the end result will be, what the totality of it will be. Hey,
Yeah.
Joel, I have a favor to ask you. Can you keep talking? I got to go preheat my oven. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Oh, she's got to pee.
So hang out for 2 more minutes. I'm going to go reheat the oven.
Pee.
All right, so Joel, while Mary goes to preheat the oven, whatever that means, we're wondering, are you hiding from the police? Why are you under your bed there?
No. We went and did our rapid COVID test yesterday so we could be with my in-laws. So we're at their house, and this is the quietest place in the house.
Okay, and people are asking, since we know you're going to go have pie, what is your favorite kind of pie? And I hope it's
my favorite kind of pie is My Accuse My Parents.
I like that answer. That's very.
I wish I would have landed that joke in 2 minutes, and then I go goodbye. My favorite pie is Pod People. Good night.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I'm out.
Thanksgiving. I couldn't tell you. I guess I'm one of those people that always take a little of the pumpkin and a little of the apple. I do want to mention that I do that NPR, her name is Sandberg, the woman who has that relish that's made out of cranberries and horseradish. I make that every year. And it's cranberry, horseradish, and sour cream. And it's really great, but I can't get anybody to touch it.
Midwestern of you.
That's my tradition is I make it. I offer it to people. They all say no thank you, and I put it on my turkey.
And you are roundly ignored by your.
That's what I'll be remembered for. Hey, I should get going, you guys. Thanks. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, you guys. MJ, you're the best, and have a wonderful time. Have a great Turkey Day with your father.
Super fun seeing you.
All right, bye-bye, you guys. Cheers.
Bye, thank you,
So much,
Joel.
Joel.
Bye.
Wonderful seeing you. Happy Turkey Day.
Bye-bye. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Dina.
Oh, I'm so glad he's
Oh my
gone.
God.
Wait till he was out of here. Oh my God, can you believe that guy?
Too much. Thank you, Mary Jo. What's your oven set on?
350.
350. What's first up?
Well, I have to put in, I'm not proud of this, but desperate times call for desperate actions. I have a bunch of, it's just a small trio of us this year. So I have a bunch of sides from Hy-Vee, pre-made sides, and I gotta heat them up, and that's the long and the short of it.
Hey, whatever is easy.
I have to step out in 15 minutes again to put them in the oven. So thanks for bearing with me, you guys.
Ian from Colorado would like to know, and of course a lot of these questions that were projects we're hoping you will continue as pandemic is here. Bruce Larson, I know I truly enjoyed your YouTube series that you did, and any chance you might come back or?
I would love it, you guys, and that is so sweet. Thank you. I loved doing that. I really, it is really hard for me to watch my own work and watch myself and have any critical eye or a judgmental eye. But that was one that I had fun, well, not fun exactly, but kind of not too harsh and judgmental about myself watching it. I almost enjoyed it. And I had so much fun working with all those people. So I'm sorry, I'm taking a long way to say, I hope so. It is a lot of work to get that up and running, especially when so many of my friends are doing it gratis. You know, it's hard for me to impose on people, but I really hope so. I thank you for asking. And that's
no, I certainly enjoyed it. So, okay, well, I know we asked earlier about, you know, how you and Bridget tend to do female shorts and things, but what is your favorite genre to do, to riff? Like, what if you could pick your hand and to just pull out whatever you wanted for a riff? What do you think your favorite genre to riff is?
I think generally speaking, I love the old black and white movies with monsters that have a zipper in their costume. Like, they're trying so hard and it's so earnest, and kind of like Jackie was talking about, people are showing up wanting to do this. You get that vibe from it, and it just I appreciate the earnestness of those and the attempt, and they're super funny with all the shortcuts.
Right. Very cool. Yeah, no, those are some of my favorites too. And of course, the first full length you guys did was Cat Women on the Moon. Am I saying that right? Was that the first full length riff you and Bridget did?
I think we did Gravity before that, but that was VOD. So,
okay.
But I can't remember. But yeah,
like, well, I might have to go change your trivia answer for Riff Tracks trivia tomorrow.
I think don't quote me on that. But no, that Catwoman on the Moon stuff, love it.
Yes. Let's see. Tim from New Jersey. When you're not riffing, what are your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing?
Oh, I am an avid biker. I love to bike, not motorcycle. I'm a avid cyclist. I walk and hike a lot. I read a bit, and that is a really good question. I'm not particularly social. Did you hear my timer going?
I did hear it.
No, I'm not lying. One thing that I enjoy connecting with my, I have a group of friends that I really enjoy, and that's always a thing to or it used to be before COVID, to get out and hang with people and have big discussions about everything.
Very cool. Yeah, COVID has affected us all, but then also it has connected us in a lot of ways. Right. So, you gotta look on that bright side.
You have to, because we are.
Let's see. Teresa from South Lake Tahoe, California, would like you to explain your love-hate relationship with Art Carney.
I don't know what that question means.
Okay, I don't either.
You sent it to me earlier, and just to prep me, and I me personally, or even if it were me personally or Pearl, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe I'll have to follow. You love because you call Crow Art several times.
It's not related to Art Carney, but
okay, Teresa, maybe that's what I'll have to follow up with this.
Yes, in the chat, clarify that.
Yes, if you're here, please do that. What was your, let's see, who is this? This is Flo. What's your favorite host segment that you did as Pearl?
I have to say the whole movie, most of the host segments from the Pearl Public TV. There are some great moments in that, I think, and moments that I didn't loathe watching myself. And honestly, when Bill and I do that song, when he comes out, I mean, it took me years to be able to watch any MST episode that I was on again because of the, automatic repulsion toward myself. And when I finally watched that, it actually cracked me up, in no small part to Bill walking out and doing that perfect turn as a smarmy Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin, singer, and Jeff Stonehouse with the lighting, with that sparkly light behind that he's always used to do.
Yes.
So off the top of my head, it would be a couple of those segments.
I have to agree, and I believe it was during the MST3K reunion, Riff Tracks live reunion, that it was brought up that that clip was played during Bill's wedding dress rehearsal.
I don't remember.
Story about that. Did you perform that song during Bill's?
I think they just played the clip.
No, I've never. No.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of money to get me to do that. Now that I know the cachet that song has with so many people, ching ching.
Yes, that's just what Pearl would do.
Mary Jo, do you need to check that oven before we lose some of this Thanksgiving?
Let's see. I'm going to put my stuff in about 8 minutes. Thank you for looking.
Oh, this person did not give their name, but Cinematic Titanic. Probably not anything similar like that planned again for the near future, but do you have any behind the scenes, kind of like you said, touring anecdotes about Cinematic Titanic, like Joel learning about the doctored pizza? Were there any shenanigans on the road or when y'all were hanging out?
Oh, there always were, but I don't have the best memory, and it was just, I just love doing Cinematic Titanic, and there's always something going on. I meant to ask Joel when he was on, because I emailed him, but he hasn't answered. There's a picture I have of him. I don't know if okay, tough shit. There's a picture I have of him, one of our last shows at the Family Arena in St. Louis, and my feet were really cold, but I had my shoes off and I had my feet up. And so Joel took some buns from the craft services table, and he put my foot in them like it was a sandwich. And then he came back and pretended like he was going to eat. So that's just sort of indicative. That's just the sort of the thing that comes to mind about how much fun we had. I mean, it was, traveling is stressful. When you have a creative team like that, there's always going to be push and pull, but that was a really fun time. And I got to actually meet fans and do live performing, and that, like, one of the best times in my life.
That's awesome. Well, and that leads me to the next question. Which do you like better, recording or performing live? I would assume performing live because you get the energy from the crowd.
I love performing live. Like, that's what I came up with. I came up in stand-up comedy, and once, and I think I'm kind of programmed like that. And once you do it, like doing stand-up for so many years, then having the opportunity to do it with Cinematic Titanic and some of the Riff Tracks live shows, there's nothing like it. But that in no way diminishes what I get to do with Riff Tracks, because working with Bridget makes it feel just as alive and in the moment.
Yes. In fact, someone mentioned, they just want to tell you that, you and Bridget are awesome. The riffing that you guys do together, it's uplifting. And it's, just really, I'll keep going back to, it's nice to see more women in comedy. And, you've paved the way for lots of other female riffers and female comedians. And, that's really, you and Bridget are still inspiring, to this. And you spoke of doing things with Riff Tracks on the lives. I was lucky enough to get to see you in Sketchfest in San Francisco before this stuff.
Wait, was that last January, Dina?
Yes, in January of this year.
Oh God, that was so fun. And it was like the last normal thing I did. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. And just you, Frank, and Trace, and Jonah. Was Kevin? I can't remember. Oh my, I can't even remember half the riffs. I wish it was one of those things they have recorded, because the way you were playing off of, especially Frank and Trace, it was just amazing. When you're doing something like that, and with Cinematic Titanic, you had more than just like the 3 riffers. When you're working with a larger group like that, do you guys plan more ahead of time, or is it kind of spur of the moment things?
Well, for the Sketchfest one, that was all improvised. So it took a lot of listening and just spatial awareness, if you will, of you can kind of sense who's trying to come up with something or has something. And that's kind of what I love about it, is sort of that free-for-all ad hoc nature. Cinematic Titanic was mostly scripted, but we always responded to the audience and folded them in and could jump ahead or just respond with something specific to their audience, which was really fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. I had no idea that the Sketchfest was all ad-lib. That actually blows my mind even more, because it was so fun.
Yeah, having worked with Trey so much and Frank so much and Kevin so much, like, their rhythms, you can, but Jonah was new. I hadn't worked directly with him before. Right. So that was really fun to, exercise those chops.
Right, and improvise with someone new. Right. That's always, it keeps you on your toes as well. Do we need to let you put things into the oven?
Yeah. Okay, talk amongst yourself. Give me 2 seconds, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. We've got time for some other questions. If you guys want to throw them in the chat. I've pretty much exhausted most of the questions that were submitted earlier. So I hope you will throw some in the chat. I'm watching it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of this. I think I know how to close this, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, there we go.
Terry in the chat says that she owns every one of MJ and Bridget's shorts. Those are some great riffs, the two of them. They've got the chemistry between the two of them is pretty amazing.
Yes. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's, I just love the fresh content. We, us riffing fans are pretty starved for content, and that's being able to have riff tracks and have Mary Jo and Bridget and even more people like Matthew J. Elliott, who does writes for riff tracks as well as performs some. He's got a shout out video. Actually, I haven't announced this yet because I don't know the name of the thing he riffed, but he did a little pre-live recording of some Telly Savalas. I know I'm not saying it right. Telly Savalas?
That's correct.
Okay. There is some short, I guess, that he's in that Matthew J. Elliott has riffed for us, because, we don't have to own rights to things and whatnot. So I'll be throwing that up here sometime and spreading the word. I don't know. We're just getting through the first hour here of Turkey Day, or this Turkey Day, the virtual Turkey Day that I'm so glad you all have tuned in for. Be sure to sign up for the email newsletter, and because after these videos, because we're recording them, you'll be the first ones to have the links to go back and rewatch them, because that's how I roll. Y'all tuned in, you sign up for my newsletter, you get early access to things. But then I will be sending them out there into the Misty world, because I know this is Thanksgiving. Granted, it's different than most years, but people are still spending time with their family, hopefully safely. But I know that they would want to see this since they didn't get to be here live. Welcome back, Mary Jo. I've been all filled up.
Yeah, thank you so much for bearing with me, you guys. I have a real, I think it's called dyscalculia, where if you put too many numbers in front of my face, I can't sequence them or register them. You wouldn't believe the graphs I made for what had to go in when I realized my dad was coming over earlier than anticipated. So I appreciate your bearing with me.
Not a problem at all. We know it is Thanksgiving, and I thank you so much for taking the time out of this, special day. I know, obviously, Turkey Day with the MST3K tie-in and everything, that's always been near and dear to our hearts. But also, this is a good time to reflect on the things that we can be thankful for. We'll have a few more questions. Victoria is wondering, do you have any advice for new coming young female comedians? Like we said, kind of going with this female thing, female power.
I think it's a really exciting time because you have many ways of accessing it. If you're doing, I'm sorry, this is a huge topic and I want to keep it succinct and not go off on a tangent. But don't take any bullshit when you do open stages. Do your own thing, listen to your own voice. When I was coming up, I had a lot of men comics correcting my act or trying to monitor my voice, which did kind of like, you know, sort of fed into my self-consciousness and, oh, I'm doing this all wrong. I think there's so many women out there doing really, really owning their voices. And I would want you to listen to your own voice and join a writing group if that suits you. It can be really useful for your first several times on stage. Just own it and do your YouTube videos, do your blog, whatever it is. You're in a really exciting time where you have forums, and I could go on and on and on. I'll do my TED talk about it, but I hope that's helpful, and I hope you just do it, because the thing about stand-up, no matter what gender you are or how you identify, it is getting up on stage. That is sadly the thing not sadly, but that's the thing you have to do to figure out your voice and who you are on stage.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. I got goosebumps. I'm like, man, maybe I want to follow some.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, yeah.
Wonderful. I missed the name, but Mike wants to know, did you keep any props from the show?
Yes, somewhere I have, Crow did a book report and for some whole segment, and I wrote the segment itself, and he did something about the Civil War. And Patrick, I want to tell you that Patrick Bransig and Bees McKeever were instrumental in making our sketches come alive. Their senses of humor and their gift for translating our vision to a real hilarious thing. I love them. I think they're amazing. And Patrick made this hilarious Civil War map. And I'm not one to hang on to things, but that was one that I kept, and I just moved, so I can't remember where it is.
Thank you, thank you. Let's see, we know you've written at least one book. I should have probably researched that. But have you done any more writing since Employee of the Month and other big deals back in 2011?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of a slow mover. I am working on a memoir about my mother, and forgive me if I've already shared this with you, but my mother died in 2014, and we found this card catalog, like this plastic recipe box, and it was filled with 3x5 index cards on all the books she had read, because she was a voracious reader, and she started forgetting what she had read because she read so much. So she started keeping these index cards, and her little book reviews are hilarious. So I'm working on a memoir about her tying in those book reviews. They're really funny, and I don't think she intended an audience, but I guess what, Mom, I'm gonna springboard off you for my writing career, which you can totally be behind. So
that's awesome. No, those are always great finds, and it keeps the memory alive. So that's very cool that you're able to work on that. And please let us know, make sure you keep me posted on all your projects so we can get it out there to the Missy world.
Yeah, you're great that way. Thank you.
Thank you. No, it is a passion, and it gives me so much fulfillment. I've never been happier in my life, to tell you the truth. And all this stuff, I got engaged recently too. I mean, like, everything is happening.
Fantastic.
So, okay, so we have a fun question. Would you rather be quarantined with Mike or with Bridget?
Well, it would have to be Bridget. I mean, Mike and I aren't gonna like have bunk beds and talk about stuff all night. What do you think of this? Do you like this? No, I love Mike dearly, but of course it's gonna be Bridget. We never run out of stuff to debrief about, as we call it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I know you got to get cooking. Do you have any other new projects in the works. Of course, the world is a different place right now, but what are you up to, I guess, lately? Besides biking all over and reading.
What have I been up to? It was kind of a weird fall. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at this. And I'm here till 1. I want to take.
Okay. Let me see what.
But Dina, it's mostly been writing. I move slowly, and my dad is 86, and he's doing great. But I'm mostly his bubble. My siblings, we're managing bubbles, so that's a big part of my life.
Sure, of course. Josh would like to know, what's a fun early memory of you and Bridget?
Oh, I don't know if it's one of my first memories of Bridget is I thought she was super funny. Like we would show up at the same open stages, and we wrote a holiday show, she and I and 2 other performers, and we did a holiday show that was awful. But we were so committed to it, and we called ourselves the Larson Sisters, and it was supposed to be a takeoff on those holiday movies where 2 or 3 sisters find their, and it was so terrible, but damn it, Bridget and I totally committed, and we were gonna, and when you do that to a certain degree, you don't even know how bad it is. You're just like, the show must go on. And one thing I remember is she gave everyone in the cast little gifts because it was a holiday show. And she gave Priscilla Nelson, another comic who was in the show, these beautiful mittens with fur, a fur cuff. And I'm kind of a literalist and just say stuff, but Priscilla opened them, and I was like, oh my gosh, Bridget, those are beautiful. And then I turned to her and I said, but that's not real fur, right? That's not in your budget. Like, why would I say? So, yeah. And then Bridget kind of looked at me like, so I've learned a lot of social graces from Bridget, if I do say so.
Like you said, I know I speak before I think sometimes as well.
Yeah, just blurting because I'm so literal, oh, that's interesting.
Yes. Let's see. Of course, again, you and MST3K and Riff Tracks have paved the way for up and coming riffers. There are several troops across the country. Yeah. Have you got the chance to either see some of them live or see them do the online riffing that they do, kind of tuned in to see what the kids are up to, I guess?
I'm sorry, I have not, and with all due respect, because I'm so immersed in it right now. Yeah. But I think the major takeaway is I'm so delighted that people do it, exercise their joke chops and their creative chops, and collaborating with people isn't always easy. So you find that dynamic. So I'm all for it, and I apologize in advance. I'm just so immersed in it right now myself. So
yeah, no, and that's but you know that the folks they're out there, and they're, in fact, yeah. We had Down in Front, who's based out of Chicago. They did Armageddon last night live for us, and it was hilarious. And I don't know if they're watching right now, but I thought I was listening to Mike and Trace and wow. Their voices were so familiar too. So that was interesting.
Can I back up a little bit? I will say that when I lived in Austin, Texas, I got to work with Master Pancake.
Yes.
And I think that was my first experience doing being an actual riffer, because I didn't do much of that in MST.
Right.
And it was so fun to do it live, and I love those guys. They are so talented, and they really pushed me out of my comfort zone, because they would take shit to the wall, and I loved it. And they're great friends of mine, and I will often, John Erler of Master Pancake will often do Twitch shows of the old Master Pancake stuff.
Right.
And it's a delight. So sometimes I'll co-host with him on an episode I did.
I've been seeing that. Well, did you guys do one for Halloween, I think?
Yeah, that was the first show I ever did with them. Halloween.
Okay. And now that was live or like in a theater?
It was taped when we did it live at the Alamo Draft House in Austin. And John kept the library. And then when COVID came around, he started doing them
online virtually. Yeah, and I know they actually, I did reach out to them, didn't get to hear back from them, but maybe they'll want to be a part of Turkey Day next year. And of course, keep us up to date when you've got more stuff going on with them. Our community is deep. I think Misty's are kind of different than other fandoms. Of course, we all have our bad apples with everything, but Misty's are like family. It takes a certain kind of person to really enjoy riffing. And of course, you know, we love you. And we love all the work that you do, and thank you, of course. But do you think that the fans bother you? Like, are we too much?
No, but I'll tell you what, I hope I can make sense of this. I think when I was doing Mystery Science Theater proper, when we were doing that show, I was really shy and kind of, I don't want to say weirded out. I don't mean it in any pejorative sense, but I didn't get the fandom because the internet was just kind of in its ascendancy.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no idea of the scope of it. And then there was a lot of negative reaction when I took over for Trace.
Right.
And a lot of people making comments about my abilities and my personal appearance. So that was hard to digest. And then as time, it still blew my mind that anyone would ever know the show or know my name or anything like that. It still kind of does. And then when I started doing Cinematic Titanic and got to meet fans, it really registered. Like you're meeting people face to face. You see these humans behind names or the letters we used to get at the Best Brains office. And I was just profoundly moved by that. It took that, that next piece, I guess, for me to make sense of it. And also there was like, like maybe 7 or 8 years in the duration. So I was, much less shy. I kind of took a break from comedy. I just gotten married, was living in Austin, was just kind of not in that vein anymore. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
No.
But seriously, the Cinematic Titanic shows and meeting people, like the coolest, and just like, how damn lucky am I? And I get to connect with these people. Did I answer your question? I'm sorry, I kind of rambled.
Okay. In fact, I the first time I got to meet you was at the Riff Tracks Live Summer Shorts. I did the VIP for that, and I got the pleasure to meet you. And as a fan, it's almost the same thing. It's seeing the human behind a character that we've watched on TV or seen of all of this stuff. So it's very cool that you guys do that. Oh no, my internet connection is unstable.
You're fine now. We're all
okay. I'm back.
It's
Froze
okay.
there for a minute.
But yes, thank you for continuing to interact with us, because it makes it even more feel like we are a riffing family, and that's what we all need. So I thank you so much for being a part of this and doing this. I have your shout out video.
Nina, are you part Minnesotan? Because you keep thanking me, darling, and you don't need to. It's my pleasure. You're so sweet. Congratulations on your engagement. When's the wedding?
Say again?
When's the wedding?
Oh, not for a long time. We we got to get all through this pandemic first. And
totally, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm delighted, and this has been so much fun. Thank you for coordinating it.
Thank you, and y'all keep tuning in. We're gonna go in this one, but Mary Jo has a shout out video that I'm gonna play tomorrow. You did mention that you were newly married, moved to Austin. I can't wait to share the story that you shared with me. So again, and here we are in our Minnesotan goodbyes that never end. Thank you, Mary Jo. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Everybody else, have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see y'all later today.
everyone. I don't know what you're going through right now. It's such a weird time, but I hope today you just have a gentle, sweet day, and you're making your way through all this bullshit. Okay. Thank you.
Bye, Mary Jo.